Okay, good evening. This is the Dayton Historical Commission meeting on July 11th. It's now 6 o'clock. This meeting is being recorded and will be shown on the YouTube channel, Dayton's YouTube channel. The listing of the matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. So we're all here in person. There's no one on Zoom. Okay. Dave Marvell is absent today. And we could do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. And we're all sworn in and ready to go.
So I'm not yet because they don't have anybody that can swear me in. So I was told that I can attend as a member. I just
Okay.
can't vote on anything.
Right. So we'll do a roll call
I-
that way.
I walked in today and they were like, no, because I guess the person that they're going to have can't technically start until Pam is no longer there. So her last day is technically tomorrow,
Oh.
I believe. So they can't have two people that can swear people in. So they have to, even though hasn't been here,
Oh,
her last day on paper is tomorrow. So they said they can't have anyone else that can swear in people until she's done. So I think this is Thursday.
okay.
When that person will be back.
So we'll just do a roll call vote, and we do have a quorum because there's 4 here and 4 equals a quorum. So, but you can partake in discussions unless I tell you to be quiet.
Fair enough.
I tell them that all the time.
Exactly.
It doesn't work.
No, it does not.
I can give it a good try though, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Pat and I are both reappointed and I got sworn in and, okay, good. And off we go. Secretary's report. Well, because we had no sound, Rafa had trouble. So he sent. I thought it was good. The only question we have is under the budget discussion, where we're talking about what we were spending. So I had written down that motion by Ally to allow the chair to purchase a roll of stamps for $63, second by Olson, all in favor. Then we had a motion to purchase from WB Mason office supplies not to exceed $200. And neither one of us could remember who made the motion and who seconded. I would think.
Put it on. Other,
Write it down, Irene.
I don't know, I'm just going. To look.
Irene's usually a good note taker.
There she is.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Hint. Arch that.
I guess. No, I don't have it. I've got the motion for the supplies, but I.
The
didn't-
supplies, not to exceed 200,
Yep,
but you didn't write who.
no, I didn't. No, that
Irene made them.
sorry.
All right, so
Why not just put it the same as?
The same, yeah,
That works.
Moved by Irene too.
We're not gonna argue.
no.
okay.
So Irene made it and I
Irene,
seconded it.
okay.
yeah.
I know it was between you two and I didn't know if.
Whatever,
Okay,
doesn't matter.
okay.
So Irene, Pat also.
We were kind of going along.
All right, we can fix that.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we'll fix it and then we'll just accept the minutes as amended at our next meeting. Okay. All right, that was easy. Our budget. So for FY 23. We encumbered the $500 for the CAI technologies for the GSI mapping. We had an invoice for the $410.18 for Riverside Art. $103.52 for WB Mason and $63 for the stamps. So that left us a balance of $211.21, which will go to free cash. I I think we did pretty good. Because we ended up getting the James Briggs sign for
Right.
nothing,
Yes.
you know, so that's where that is. So the encumbered paperwork is all in, all the invoices made it in on time, so we're all good on for FY 23. So looking forward to FY 24. We had planned a budget of $1,400. And in that, we had planned for $50 for the maintenance of our display cases and different items around that we are accumulating. We had $700 in professional development, professional and technical. That's the money that would allow us to go to conferences.
Mhm.
Communications, we put 30. Under other supplies, we had $490. So that was office supplies, and we actually had planned for 3 historical markers for town buildings. And then travel, we said $130 for conferences and workshops. So that's the breakdown for our spending going forward. So far, we haven't incurred any bills. So I did notice that in one of the, I guess maybe it was the finance committee meeting, we should start looking forward to our next budgets as we're going through this budget. And already I can tell we planned for postage for $30 out of this one, and it cost us $63 for a roll of stamps. If we use all of those stamps, because we are going to have mailings for, you know, so we know it's going to be a minimum of another roll of stamps probably in a year, I would
And
think.
to add to that,
That
they
went-
went up to 66 cents. a
Yeah,
piece.
so just as we're planning, you know, going forward, let's keep track of this stuff so that we know when we go to the budget, what we're talking about.
Well, if we have any more mailings, will there be any more potential districts that are gonna have significantly more residents that would be need to mail things to?
There
Maybe Pleasant Street.
maybe
Not the
Pleasant
brick one.
Street, not, yeah,
Brick one's
yeah.
hardly anybody living there.
right.
That's good.
Maybe Pleasant Street, and some of the addresses, when you look at the list in the forms, it'll give you like 3 form numbers, you know, Form B numbers, BIG numbers, but they're all actually under the same address, so they might be for the house.
The barn and then
Barn.
or something like that. So, okay,
Kind of have to take a
That's-
look at that,
right.
yeah, so. All right, does anyone else have any questions about the budget?
Sounds good.
Okay. Next is the James Briggs Garden sign. So we're waiting for the highway department to put the sign in place. So they've been busy with roads. So when they get a free moment, it's signs. I will reach out to Jenna and Tanya again about when they're planning a dedication
You haven't?
for that garden.
It's been like
No,
3 months.
I emailed them before the last meeting and I'll do it again. Okay. We'll get our sign up one way or the other. The time capsule, RAPA. So we did discuss and review this with the Board of Selectmen. And we talked about possible spots, you know, Town Hall, the vault, burying it. Of course, Pat and Rapper, you were there. The Carnegie Building came up, segregated school. Like, the biggest driver of that is going to be what memorabilia is going to go in that and how big it is going to be and what we can afford. So, did you start looking at prices, Rafa?
Yeah, I did last week. They ranged between $36, depending on the size and the make, up to over $2,000. Oh, just like non-destructible.
Can I add a new suggestion?
Mhm.
We expect the Smith Hall to be the library that everyone's
Yep.
using. What if we created a plexiglass box?
Are you talking about that?
Oh,
Kind of.
oh, great minds. My last name is not Karen. So you got this plexiglass box. It'll be where people can see it. You will clearly put a sign on it that says to be open, and you'll put the date that this thing is open, but it wouldn't be vandalized because it's in with people who are going to be in and out of there. It's not buried. Pick a size, say, I want it's plexiglass. That's going to cost you some money, not a lot. It's easy to construct. They screw it together. They'll screw the lid on and it's going to say to be opened, and you have your date and there it is and it's safe. No?
It's kind of, but I
People are
understand.
gonna be tempted to
It's like putting it,
try open it anyway.
Gonna be tempted. There's other people there. It's not in one person's house. It's in a public library.
Janitor, custodian, I don't know.
you think there's some criminal mastermind whose game plan is to come down to the library and break open the time capsule?
Wouldn't a plexiglass case work? Because you're talking about even if it's not on display for the public, why wouldn't that plexiglass work anyway? If you're gonna put it in the vault or at the Carnegie Hall or in segregated school or,
But I think what they were thinking is that like if burying it has that charm to it and then putting it in the vault in just like a box has no charm, almost like if you put it behind plexiglass, it's has some charm to it because it's more of like a museum piece, but it's also not just like on a shelf somewhere in someone's
Right.
closet.
right?
So I think that's probably one of the best of both worlds in the sense that if burying it is gonna be too cost effective or too potentially unsafe with, if we can't afford the one that's definitely gonna be fine on the ground, then we run the risk of it getting damaged. What's the other option?
Or losing where you put it.
Or that.
This would be adhered in somewhere inside of Smith Hall.
Yeah,
You could get a price on a sheet of plexiglass. I'm assuming Tom Ferry's people could do that and screw it together. And then you'd have a size and then that would tell you how much stuff you can put in this thing.
What if there's a fire though? You think of those worst possible scenarios.
what if there's a,
Fire.
It's either the fire or the janitor coming
Oh.
over the.
or the
I
flood?
think the flood, I think the flood is the most realistic option of those three.
Really?
Well, fine, we fire, but
Fire.
I mean, I think it's worth exploring.
It's not crazy expensive.
Yeah,
Or if we can find a sponsor, like a donor.
but the bottom line comes down to where is it
Gonna go.
gonna go?
in the building,
Is it gonna go in the building? Is it gonna go in the ground?
because we know the basement is not an
Go in the
option.
building, where people can see it.
You could put it in the plexiglass thing and have each thing individually wrapped and say,
Oh, I wouldn't let them see what's inside
Yeah.
there.
Almost like putting like, getting any normal box, but then the box is behind plexiglass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The box isn't necessarily anything, not anything special, I mean it that way, but the box isn't sealed and
right,
Yeah.
it's behind the plexiglass, almost like if you were at a museum and you saw like a mummy case, a mummy
Yeah.
coffin behind the thing, like it's protected behind that. And then we would break open the plexiglass, whatever it would be.
How thick are the walls of the hall?
at Smith Memorial?
Can you like just bury it like within the walls?
Oh, I don't know. Well, the upstairs walls are not going to be touching, those are existing. Downstairs, those have all like little rooms where they had like their different classes and stuff. So I'm not sure if that configuration would stay.
I wouldn't count on the basement at all as being an option.
Cause we can't even access it. No, we can't access it. Like it's not gonna be used by anybody.
Well, that's the point. We can't access it until 50 years from now. Somebody just have to remind the librarian 50 years from now. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a bad option. I think it's a doable one.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's affordable, hopefully the plexiglass is.
And how
affordable.
thick the plexiglass?
You can get it different thicknesses. You can get 1/4 inch plexiglass. You can get 1/8 inch. I would go something, quarter should be more than thick enough.
I don't know what the DR vocational department has, if they have anyone that'd be willing to donate. Or students to,
Yeah.
I'm not- I haven't been there
Bristol
years.
Plymouth,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, right.
They were very generous to us.
Right. Right.
Or if they can't do it, at least lead us in, and they probably have resources that we could
Mhm.
use.
Right. You know, usually like with both DR and BP, if we pay the materials, they do the labor piece of it, you know, which is fine too.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's the labor that
Sure.
really kills you.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
so then the discussion is, it could go into the Carnegie Building too.
I wouldn't suggest that either.
We wouldn't suggest that either.
No, knowing the plans that are gonna happen, I don't think it's gonna be an option. It's all gonna be torn apart to begin with.
Yeah, so then it
So-
would get lost in the
Right.
construction
Better off
and,
putting it, I think, in the library.
The library, yeah.
yeah.
Have it on display. It's be a great piece to.
I was gonna say, it adds, yeah, exactly. It adds something to, not that it won't already be, but it's gonna be something else soon.
And we'll all be dead, but you'll be there. to-
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I plan on it. I'm gonna.
I know you do.
I've got to have cryogenics.
So if we're talking about the library, actually, that's something that we should meet with the trustees and talk about because they're in charge of the building.
Mm.
What about the community church?
That always has the possibility of the church being sold or changed. Oh.
For sure, yeah.
Churches do.
But the one in Swansea case, I mean,
I think of the cemetery. Cemetery is like permanent. You can't touch that.
No, but you.
Oh, the cemetery, no, but
but then you'd be burying it.
That's the whole idea. Bury it somewhere next to somebody famous. Exactly.
I kind of think that we should explore the option of with the library and
Fine.
fine. I know, and we'll make some pretend dirt to put over it.
Bury you, how about that?
I'm gonna be cremated. It's in my will.
Right, so Rafa, could you just kind of explore some prices on plexiglass?
Sure.
And I can talk to Ron and the trustees. Okay,
Now, would this be done this year?
well, you kind of want things from 2023
Oh, okay.
so that, you know,
It could,
in 2073. It would be opened, yeah, so we should start collecting items too. So we could have,
We can do it during the Firecracker Festival, September 9th, or later, whatever festival comes after Firecracker with the Christmas Festival.
Wait, when's Strawberry?
Strawberry Festival.
gone.
and
Already?
You must have. I guess you didn't get a question. did ya?
That's it, not.
Cow chip is over.
Yeah, I knew that one was over.
That.
Yeah, at the, we can make a big deal about sealing it. And, I don't think the library will be ready to have it placed yet, but
Yeah,
what is
that's okay.
determined, it
Right,
can go somewhere until then.
right. So at the Firecracker Festival, we could have like a box and just advertise it on our
Mhm.
Facebook page to bring your item by, you know, and then we'll have to say that we have the right to reserve
Yes.
what goes in. Okay,
Or whatever we reject with the time capsule, we can always save them for the next topic, preserving memories of Dayton.
yep,
We can
yeah,
do another like little project for that one.
all right. So next meeting. We'll talk about the plexiglass again. Getting the items, you know, more formal. Because that'll be in August and then I'll talk with Ron and Jocelyn. Okay. Phew, making progress. Preserving the memories of Dayton. Okay, Pat and Irene.
well, Pat was more productive than I was.
I just wanted you to look at what
Yeah.
I had written
Yeah.
and you could certainly delete something you didn't think was appropriate or
Oh, I
add
thought
whatever
that
you wanted.
was- You did better than I did.
All right, so I should have made copies for everyone. So Pat and Irene, Pat actually put up some questions about growing up in Dayton. She has about 6 questions.
It's just to get them to talk.
About-
So these
Yeah.
are general
Yeah.
topics for you to start off on. So these are my topics.
So there's school-related topics, World War II, topics. Family.
To read 'em fast?
vacations. Yeah, yeah. Where'd you go? Where did you attend grammar school? How did you get there? Did you bring lunch or go home to eat? How did World War II affect your family? Rationing, blackout drills? Was there a celebration when it was over? Did your family take vacations? What did you do for recreation? What was your first job? The rate of pay? Did any extreme weather such as hurricanes, floods, blizzards affect your family? Do you remember your family getting electricity or indoor plumbing or your first television? So that's a good start.
Were the Beatles appearing on Ed Sullivan?
I was.
There you go. We were there for that. You were there for that.
Yeah, I had to miss.
60s, some 60s, right? Early 60s.
63, 64,
64.
64, okay.
54.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Were you just
60.
a sparkle in someone's eye at that point?
Yeah, pretty much the assassination.
My parents were 3 years old, so I was,
I remember that because my mother wouldn't let us watch that.
Oh, I watched.
oh,
I watched.
Of what, the,
The Beatles.
Ed Sullivan. The Beatles came on Ed
same thing
Sullivan.
with, same thing with Elvis too.
Elvis. was
Too,
beyond-
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like.
but they wouldn't show.
Where.
They wouldn't show him from the waist,
Waist.
only from the waist up.
Watch the TV nowadays and people would be rolling.
Oh,
their
I
graves.
know.
Oh,
All right, so some of the things we have to think about is, we have our topics that we want, like number of people that we want to interview. Yeah, how do we want to invite them? We're gonna need to figure out some of the technology piece to it, Rafa.
Sure.
I don't know if it's specific, if you want to be more specific for Dayton, but maybe if we ask them a question like, what businesses do they remember going to in Dayton specifically? Because like hypothetically, if you were living in Dayton, but you had most of your family be in Fall River or something, maybe most of your memories would be in Fall River. And that kind of is like, okay, it's great to hear that, but we want it to,
Dayton.
we want Dayton related answers.
Dayton was a big
So if
farm.
you say, oh, I worked in Taunton, I did this, I went to the mall. It's like, okay, well, that's, now we're talking about Taunton. That was just fine, but like, if you want to specifically more about Dayton, or even like, I don't know how this would be, but do you remember, who was the first selectman you remember? Like, to your memory, who was the first person you remember being selectman? If I would assume they had probably selectmen.
They
Oh,
do
they
have
did.
Anyway, it wasn't,
Oh, yeah.
it was always so, I mean,
Hmm,
someone who's in their 80s, do they remember who, the
right.
first selectman that you remember? Would it be anybody that,
I don't know.
no, not you, but.
Well, you're asking.
I was asking you specifically. But I know with my husband Jeff, he's gonna be 82 on Wednesday.
Right.
He remembers as a kid, you got out of school, you ran down to the closest farm to get a job for the summer that paid
Right,
20 cents.
So I wonder how many of those farms are still open today or how, are.
yeah.
They aren't.
Oh, the answer's
None,
gone.
none.
None, other than the only real.
Well, he's
farm.
82. You want to interview him?
I mean, actually,
That would be good. That would
I
be.
could start that with
Yeah.
him.
Trip is 100.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask you
Interview him.
about him because he's coming into the Wednesday night, tomorrow night's meeting, wow,
Yeah,
for a proclamation. And
That's
it'd
very
be
nice.
great to interview
Sure.
tomorrow night because his
He's
whole family
actually-
will be here.
yeah. He's actually done an interview on NARA for the World War II.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody know, while we're just, the subject?
I mean, we have Richmond on later
you-
on in our,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because we have
On the agenda, yes.
our
You're
agenda.
going to ask who the oldest citizen in town is?
No,
Oh,
if he is the oldest World War II surviving Dayton resident.
ah,
I
I
would
assume
feel, I
probably.
think
I would
yes.
say yes.
I would say yes.
I mean, yeah.
Do we have a veterans agent?
Yes.
Yes,
that's-
we
Yeah.
do.
He doesn't know? He doesn't
No.
have any documentation? Oh, wow.
We're gonna ask the town clerk, but we don't have one.
Right. Now let's that
I
out.
wanted something for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We're gonna have one, but we want to be able to introduce him as.
Understand.
Resident from,
I think maybe
I think so.
But wouldn't
too.
he have to be?
he would have to
I mean,
be.
who else would it be?
Because older than him are women
Yeah,
who were not in the
Right,
service.
they weren't in
Right.
the service.
So,
I think he's probably,
and I know Myrna interviewed,
yeah, she doesn't know. I asked her.
yeah, That's an interesting question.
Is the oldest male citizen in Dayton?
Yes, I would say yes, because you would have to check that, the list, but yeah, I would think so. Because Dorothy, our Boston Post King, she is 101. Longevity.
So he doesn't get the Boston Post cane.
No, because
We've
she's
got
still
somebody.
alive.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't know how that,
Yeah.
thought that's how it went.
Right, right.
Did he live in Dayton his whole life? Or most of his life, or?
They moved here and built the house. So,
Miss Perry lived here her
Yeah.
entire life.
Wow.
Yeah,
but they've been here for a long time.
He
They
was
raised-
very involved in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
yes.
Very
church.
involved in the church, putting great flags on the graves.
Yeah. Yeah, great contributions.
Oh, yes, yes.
All right, so, I mean, as we think of topics, because actually some of your questions are actually going to kind of be tailored to who you're interviewing, because like if you know someone that moved, say, to town when they were 10 or 12,
Mm,
it's going to be different than someone who moved it when they were in their twenties.
Right.
So, but that's where a little bit of, talking with them first to figure, when they were in
Well,
town.
this might come up as you're talking to them
Yeah.
too.
yeah,
But you want to have kind of a plan as you're going along too. And a lot of them are, once they get going,
oh,
you're just,
Someone just wanted to volunteer information without you having to ask.
Right.
yeah.
Like,
all right. So we really have to work on kind of like who's going to be doing the interviewing, who's going to be doing the recording. Once we get the recordings done, what are we going to do with them? Where are they going to be stored? How are we? Are they just are we gonna use like the Zoom and record them to the cloud? Are we going to record them to our computer?
could we publish it and sell it?
We could publish it,
Even if it's just as simple as like I'm not talking about, sending it to like Boston to get published, but like even just like
yeah.
self-publishing, I mean,
And right, so you could even write it up and make a book.
and just publishing on Amazon is dirt cheap.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that
I
comes,
don't even, sometimes depending on what you get, it might not cost you anything.
right. So that leads to releases, to
Mm,
release
right.
the information, which you
That's-
can do. You can
yeah,
ask them to
right.
sign the release.
Right.
And that all of the materials, once it's recorded, and all of that material belongs to us.
It could be a good fundraiser. Sold them.
Okay. So those are some of the things we have to work on. I got this I did send this to you last month. It's from the American Folklore Center. I can resend the link, so if you want
Mm.
to take a look at it, I don't know. You seem kind of interested in this, Zach.
I am actually, yes, I am.
We need a timetable and those kinds of things. So if you wanted to take a look at the recording and the release parts of it,
Sure.
and we can still keep thinking of questions as we go along, and is there anything else that we can think of that we need?
well, you know what I could do is I could start with Jeff,
Oh, like a practice one.
practice one to see where it goes. Cause I
Yeah.
mean, he was talking about stuff today and I'm like, oh,
Right,
cause he moved back here. He was born in Hartford, Connecticut, but moved back here with his family because his father worked for Pratt Whitney in Connecticut.
okay, yep,
He was born in Connecticut, but then they came back after World War
Yep.
II. So he was a small child when he came back to Dayton.
you know who else would be good is Ernie. Ernie Atwood. He knows lots
It'd
of,
be funny if nothing else.
oh, yeah.
Well, we need humor.
Now, how old is he? Is he? in his
He's
80s?
80, just turned,
Oh, okay.
and of course, Myrna, Dorothy,
Yeah.
Oh. I just thought of someone else, Mr. Eagleson, but I don't think he's 100 yet, but I think he was in World War II.
Jim Nicholson,
Yeah.
yeah, he's not doing well.
Oh, he's not.
He's our neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to his wife a couple weeks.
I see Hannaford all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, he's not doing well.
How old is he?
94, 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get out of the house
that's-
anymore, so.
Yeah.
Not that you can't interview him. I'm just
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
I don't know
I
how,
have a family connection. My
Yeah.
stepsons are
right,
his grandchildren.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe you could even do a recording, like a tape recording if you
Yeah.
had to.
Well, I
Right.
think most people would be comfortable with that.
With
Right.
tape.
So someone goes to their house just with a tape recorder, they already have the questions. You've given them the questions, so they have time to think about what they want to say. They pick a date where someone can come and we're just going to talk about those
Yeah.
questions. So they don't feel any
Especially
pressure.
now with
They're
this,
not nervous.
iPad, I mean, on your phone, you can
Yeah.
usually just record it and then just.
Now, would you also take a picture of that person today as you interviewed them? So if you did like a booklet, you could put like a small picture with their.
Mhm.
That's a very nice suggestion.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Because I mean,
If they want to
people
post to it,
Yeah, if they're okay with it.
Yeah.
And if not,
Yeah.
fine.
or if they want to give a picture of themselves when they were younger, if they don't feel
Yeah,
comfortable, doing it, if they're not some of
There
the.
you go.
If they don't want
They
to,
might
if
even
they don't find
prefer that.
themselves doing that now, you know,
Yeah.
like.
People in their prime.
It's like when people die in their nineties and they put their service picture on.
Right.
Yeah.
or their high school.
Okay, so you mentioned Richmond, you mentioned Myrna, you mentioned Jeff Valley, you mentioned Dorothy Perry.
Ernie Atwood,
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I just laugh when you say that.
and then maybe Mr. Eagles, is it
Yeah.
Eagleson?
Eagleson. Well, certainly his wife too.
Oh, yeah,
She
yeah.
drives.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I'm close enough with her that I'm,
Yeah.
like,
From Hannaford.
yeah.
she's remarkable. Even if you're interviewing someone and they could be in their 60s too, you know, because they would know his history, they would, if they,
Yeah.
especially if they grew up here.
Or if they had a grandparent
Mhm.
that taught them their history and talked about stories and,
They grew up on one of the farms.
yeah. Yeah,
How many people do we want to interview?
I'll say at least 10.
I
I mean,
need
If
more.
if you have three, it's almost not underwhelming, but like, it's almost like. It, at that point. I think you need to have a good number for it to
Yeah.
stand out to people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
and you might end up with more than what you really, you know, somebody. You know, if you think of somebody later on, oh,
And the person you interview might say, oh, go talk to my neighbor. He's been here longer than I have. You know what I mean? Or something like
Yeah.
that.
All right, we'll come up with a list of 10 to start with, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Dick Lee, he's gonna be in the 70.
I would say,
Almost 80.
Yeah.
Range.
yeah, have they been in Dayton for,
He started Lee Burial Vault.
that's them?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
well, it was his father.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. Anything else on our preserving the memories?
Should we advertise this on our Facebook page if we're trying to solicit interviews?
Let's get it a little more firmed up as far as the release and stuff goes, and then do you want to have that ready? So we can look at that at the next meeting, get all of those little fine details done. And then I would say we'd be ready to start asking for volunteers or calling people to.
well, I could even start with this and do like a dry run.
And let us know how it goes.
Yes.
Hopefully your interview won't be too difficult.
Well,
It can be difficult, but no, he may, I mean, he talked about, he worked at ICI, we talked about growing up as a
Mhm.
kid, running to get a job at the farms, and it's like, that stuff kids today would not have a concept of. at all.
Right,
And he
right.
talks about that all the time.
Right.
And
Yeah.
talks where the different places were, like the Dayton Rock Plaza there,
Yeah, yeah,
that would, they grew peppers there. No, I didn't know that.
yeah. I didn't
Yeah,
know they,
'cause I'm not. in
yeah,
Dayton.
yeah,
There's a train station there too.
right,
Yeah,
right, yeah. I don't know, where we live, my husband picked tomatoes, so,
yeah.
all right, we'll continue on. On our preservation planning, so Mass
Oh,
Historical.
did you
Commission-
have the
What-
map?
Oh, did I? Oh, I have the map. It's
Oh.
framed and it's ready to display. I didn't bring it. Because I didn't want to carry it, but I took a picture.
As I was there yesterday picking up a piece of my own and I'm
So it
like,
came out really, it's got plastic over it.
Oh, that's cool.
Did it come out how you wanted it to?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
oh, good.
So we did talk with the selectmen about where to go, and I guess it's under advisement. We'll have to
Right.
figure out.
Is it already framed?
Yeah, it's all framed. It's wrapped and all of that.
They
so,
usually, when they give it to the customer back, they put it in
Yeah,
a sealed plastic.
I think we made the right choice with the frame.
yeah, right. Looks good.
Oh, that's nice. That really looks nice.
So since when we were there, I forget, what was his name?
The owner.
The owner.
Yeah,
He was asking about how old what that scan was, because it's a very good scan.
yeah.
And I think it may be from around 1962,
Wow.
when they did the 250th. So I was at my house right now, but I was thinking maybe I'd ask Jim if he could kind of store it where the sign, the James Briggs Garden sign is. So it's not just hanging at my house,
Right.
or we could put it in the vault for the time being
Yeah.
too.
Is there enough room to put it?
We could put it in our section.
Oh, okay.
Would it fit in our cabinet for now, temporarily?
In
Not a
there?
Permanent thing, temporarily.
No, the shelves are too. Good idea, though. But we'd have to take the shelves out.
Yeah. Nothing here besides things.
Yeah,
And then you would disturb your display too.
yeah. Eventually, I want to have like little signage that goes there. That explains what the Boston Post cane is. On another day. All right, so I got everything. Good catch. Lower Four Corners, Mass Historical Commission has accepted our letter. So the form, the Lower Four Corners area form for review for eligibility. Could take a while for them to get back to us, but that step is done. I started a draft of the letter to the property owners in the Lower Four Corners area. So this is I was just trying to get thoughts down, trying not to be too wordy, but give enough information as to how we got to picking their area. So I don't know if anyone has anything to add, questions, deletions.
I strongly recommend you add 2 sentences. The first of which says that this designation in no way encumbers the homeowner as far as any painting or renovations they choose to make. And that's all, I'd make 1 sentence, because you're going to talk to them about that at the meeting.
Right. I did when
But I would put, or even underline that, and then your next sentence is a positive. But this designation would, and I would underline that, because it's one real positive, enable businesses located in this area to be eligible for grant money. So you're just saying you're saying 1 no and 1 very positive yes, and you can discuss it, of course, at your meeting.
Right, so I did think about the thing about it being in the National Register where either you can, there's no, like you say, encumbrance, there's nothing to say that they have to follow because it's not a local bylaw. Then I just said, but we're also in the future looking at one of the things is to, down the line, is local historic districts are one of the stronger ways to preserve properties. So if we put something in like that, then they'll say, well, you said you were never going to call this a local historic district. So
Right.
I was debating with that because I had that thought, and I was like debating within myself, how are we going to word that to say this is for now, but it doesn't mean that in the future it wouldn't be.
I understand your
Yeah.
point, but I read your letter, and if I
Yeah.
were a homeowner receiving that letter, I'd be very unhappy because it leaves questions which will be answered
Right.
at the meeting. I got
Yeah.
you. But I would take that, and the first thing people are going to do is get on Facebook and say, did you get a letter like that? What are they trying to do? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. You have the advantage and the disadvantage of not being on Facebook. So I'm just saying, I would clearly put one sentence to put their mind at
Right.
ease,
Mm.
another sentence about the grant money, and then talk about it at your meeting at a later date.
Burgess at the window.
So that sounds.
What was it?
A bird just at the window,
Oh,
but it flew off, so it must be all right.
Yeah, because I was gonna write about, you can do what you want with your home or not do anything. Because we did talk about that a little bit briefly at the Board of Selectmen's meeting. And the local historic district is another whole conversation. My problem is I don't want to say, we're doing this and we're saying this now, but in 3 years after you become a national historic district, we're now going to try and make you be a local historic district.
But wouldn't you discuss that at the meeting where you clearly
I would, but
outline a lot more information?
yeah,
But not everybody that gets the letter.
Well, why
would
don't you
probably
put at
show.
this time? If you want to. At this time, this designation does not have any impact on your remodeling, decorating, painting, et cetera.
yeah, all right. And with that, I was thinking of sending the information about the National Register District, and then I said maybe the Low Four Corners area form for them each to have their own copy. And the forms that I was thinking were the ones that I gave to the selectmen, the know-how number 3 one. It's what you need to know. And then there's one on the effects and benefits of listings, which I think all of you have. If you don't, I can resend them. And there's also one that talks about the differences between a local historic district and a national register district.
How many pages can you put in an envelope for a standard stamp?
Yeah, no,
I don't know. I don't know how many.
If it's the whole nomination form, that's 22 pages alone. If you,
right.
Oh, Jesus.
if you include the pictures, I mean, if you don't include the pictures.
Well, you didn't have enough in your budget for stamps.
Right.
If you don't include the pictures and you include just the information and the list of properties, it's 11 pages. It's 22 if you include all the pictures and then.
I would
say
say
that-
that and say, come to the meeting. You can certainly hand them out
Right,
at
yeah.
the meeting.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I would send the letter and maybe just one of these. This one's about there is a difference. It talks about the difference between the local historic district and the national. So kind of.
I would say definitely that one at
Mhm.
least, because they're gonna see these terms that they might, I mean, to us, these terms are common, but to some people who
Yeah.
Okay,
don't know,
Yeah.
they'll probably, if they care enough, they probably will Google it anyway. But
But then you, like Pat says, you've got some people. that
you don't,
get a letter like
you don't
that.
want to intimidate anybody and be like, right.
Spastic. But at least that gives them information, and if they've
About the
got more
difference.
questions.
right, they can come and ask
You know,
questions.
You
It's one of
could
those-
say,
yeah.
you could probably say we're including an informational flyer,
I just say
and if you have
include
more
some
questions,
information.
yeah.
Because you don't want to be negative, but also you don't want people, there will be some people who could potentially be turned off right away just by
Oh,
reading it.
It's gonna be.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like, you don't want to assume that anybody is, but you also don't want the first meeting to have people with signs saying, please don't do this. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay. It is kind of hard. So.
Most. I would, say, well, all people that own historic homes are very proud of their homes.
Yeah.
True.
They are very proud of them.
Yeah.
And most would want them to be honored in some way.
Mhm.
I do know that, the minute you start saying it's a local bylaw and,
Oh.
That's when the flags go up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their backup.
So it's like, now I can't paint my house that I just bought, like, really? Yeah, or
Right.
for example, I mean,
right, and that's the first thing that comes up.
right.
So even before we talk to them about local historic districts, we have to really be solid on, what kinds of things that we would possibly be including into a local historic district.
Definitely.
Um,
Because you might find one person who is a younger couple that just stumbled into the home and bought it. not caring or knowing about the history. It was like, well, we were gonna take off the whole second floor and add, or, add a whole new wing on. So now I can't do that.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Most people, yes, probably have been there forever and want to keep that charm.
Yeah.
But you might have one or two people who are like, well, we were gonna level this thing. I'm just saying.
Family house.
Some people, you have to almost assume that those one or two people are going to come up and say something. So you almost want to be ready for what
Yeah.
they could potentially say.
All right, so I'll work on the letter some more. I had to stop doing it because I was getting too wordy. And people don't read if it gets too
No.
wordy.
Yeah, they throw it.
The third paragraph, I think it's very vague. It's very wordy.
Well, was my problem.
I'd probably just eliminate it because it's just too long,
But based on that information that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they don't care. And the first line, the word it's, there's no apostrophe.
I'm gonna,
You're getting revenge for all those. For you, Rafa. And I didn't like the way that looked.
How do you think? I'm her assistant. It's my job.
okay, well, I told you, I'm typing away. and I'm-
Miss Innocent.
That's why I have my assistants at work. They catch all my mistakes for me.
All right, so what we'll do, though, I'll work it up again and in August, we can take a look at it again. And figure out when we want to have a date and a time. I was looking at my calendar, August and September is not looking too good.
Could it be a regular meeting?
It could be, we just plan it for a longer, have that as a part of the meeting or after.
Could depend on the meeting space too. I mean, who knows
Right.
how crowded, I mean, if every week we try to add a date to something here, we might have no choice but to keep it on the night we already have. We know we have that night.
Right,
We have
right.
this building.
Right. And we know for the most part, we all keep our calendars clear on that day,
Mhm.
or we try to.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll continue to work on that. So along with that, we had talked about doing a walking tour of our national districts. And I don't know if we wanted to take a look like to do that September, because Pat and I had started working on a little talk about it way back when. We could do that. I'm also going to talk to a gentleman from the Taunton Yacht Club. He was interested in the Quorum Shipyard,
That'd be
so
cool.
I told him I'd talk with him and see what he knows and
I think that's a really cool idea. I always see them advertising the Old Colony walking tour, which I
Yeah.
still haven't done. I'm always working.
Oh, I've
When
done
they
it
have
many
them,
times.
I want to
Many
do, I've been wanting to do it for a long time and it's always working whenever they're doing it, but that I never even occurred to me for doing one.
Right.
I think that'd be really cool.
right. And actually, all it does, theirs is what, maybe 45 minutes to an hour at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the one I was thinking like we could do in September and I was like, well, when would that be, but September's like filling up really fast.
But that would be a nice introduction for, if you advertise that you were doing
Yeah.
that for two existing
Right.
districts. Hello, new people in the lower four corners. This is something
Right.
similar to what you'd be
Right.
doing. kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all good publicity.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
absolutely. Take a look at your calendars and see if we can come up with a date or something. September 9th is a firecracker festival.
Oh, it is now?
Yes,
Um,
and I won't be there. It's my
So
grandson.
the following
we
weekend,
have to follow, the following week is
16.
16th. I can't do the 16th
Then it's the 23rd
and then
After
the
that?
23rd,
and then the 30th.
right? Maybe the 23rd or the 30th might work. Be cooler then too.
Mm,
It would be. It's not cold to the point
No.
that it's uncomfortable, obviously, yet. So,
Right,
This time is a great weather.
yeah, it is.
yeah,
It can be. Sometimes it's summer part two sometimes. Like there have been times when it's like September 20th and it's still 80 out, Or it's the opposite where it's September 1st and it's already frosting,
Mosquitoes and stuff.
Yeah.
so, okay,
Maybe fall, so better opportunity for pictures.
and I'll pull out, Pat, what we worked on before. I mean, it can be real basic too with the tour, just look at the houses and a little bit about it and
mm.
people ooh and ah and off we go. Do it like Saria does from Old Colony. She does a good job. She has her little microphone and I didn't realize, but a lot of those rooftops downtown are flat. When you're looking at, which amazes me, they were built in the late 1800s and they're all flat roofed. That Italianate,
Yeah.
yeah. Our survey, the part two with the North Dayton and Mount Hope. We have the contract with the CAI Technologies that's signed. So we're just waiting for the information from Stacy. So this agreement is for services on time and material. So it'll be invoiced over like once a month. So when she turns something in and they work on it, then we'll get an invoice. And it's also, we won't have to always go back and recreate another contract. So this is a ongoing contract with them for our projects. Stacy was at the society the end of June doing a little research, and now we're waiting for forms from her so we can start reviewing and making comments on. I'm going to follow up with her because I'd like to get those sooner than later. Historical markers, Rafa.
I did mail the new application forms to those residents.
Yeah.
At Chase Street, Mr. Woods and.
Yeah.
Furtados.
Yeah.
I haven't received their forms yet, so I don't know if they're still in the process of fulfilling.
It was just basically they had to sign for about the publicity thing.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anything has been returned, has been delivered to the,
Oh, I didn't see any mail there the other day when I will check.
okay,
Did we change the price in it?
yeah. $126 and change,
Yeah, 126.42.
something, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll check the mail. And you just explained we just needed it re-signed.
Mhm.
So for the historical town buildings, like I said, we had planned for 3 historical markers. So
Same size, just
the same size as the other ones, yep. So I guess we should start that process. Where do we want to start? We have Old Town Hall, Segregated Schoolhouse, the North Dayton Fire Barn, the Carnegie Building, the Carnegie Library, Smith Memorial Hall. That's all of them.
start with this one.
Start with this one. So we should fill out an application form.
They cleaned the porch. And I've sent 3 requests already to the TA. What's been done about this horrible, dirty, filthy
Oh, it's good. It's got a little
embarrassment.
power wash. Well, I think if you talk to Mike, he's a little preoccupied.
Oh, he knows about.
Yeah, you better. All right, let me see.
Do you think it would be a nice public relation thing if you put one on the Carnegie Library sooner than later? So people going by will at least say, oh, look, they're still doing something with that. That's not being forgotten about. You're not going to do any renovations to the outside, are you?
No,
Okay, then you wouldn't be
Mhm.
disturbing anything. It would just be, yes, they're still looking at this, they're still considering it,
Yeah.
they're still including it in their history.
Mhm. We could do both. This building, Old Town Hall and the Carnegie Building.
Mm.
We have the forms for both of them.
Mhm.
So Rafa, if you fill out the application, we might as well follow our own process. I'll get the forms.
Okay.
And what would be your third one?
Do you want to do 2 now or 3 now?
Now and then see,
Okay,
because I think to put one on Smith Memorial Hall, we really should wait until they're done with
Mhm.
whatever's going on there. And Segregated Schoolhouse, we could put one on, it would just be on the outside. The North Dayton Fire Barn, I don't even know if there would be a space. We'd have to talk to the fire chief about that one.
Mhm.
And we'd have to talk to. Are both the Carnegie Building and the Smith Memorial Hall under the trustees still?
yes,
So we would have to talk with the trustees about affixing anything to the buildings. Okay, so I can follow up with that, Ron, on that. So we'll start with Old Town Hall and we'll work on the Carnegie one too, because. Okay. So does anyone else have anything on historical markers? So under new business, Leanne contacted me about Richmond trip turning 100, who we talked about earlier.
I didn't mean to bring that up.
Oh, no,
Out
no,
of
that's
turn.
fine. A little tangential, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I did make a certificate for us to sign and give to him tomorrow night. And
Right.
won't be able to go. So I asked Rafa if he would present the certificate and he said he would. So,
What time are they doing it for him?
6:30.
6:30. Maybe I'll get my husband to come, because he knew Mr. Tripp for
yeah.
a long time.
Yeah. He's an amazing gentleman. So basically, it's a certificate of honor to Richmond Tripp for his service during World War II, his contributions to Dayton's community, and an extraordinary long and full life on this 12th day of June, 2000.
Maybe July.
July. I said June, but I wrote July. I was like, oh, God. So I'd like to entertain a motion to award Richmond Tripp a certificate from the Historical Commission on July 12th.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor, Rafa,
Right?
Pat,
Hi.
Irene,
Aye.
and I'm also an aye. All right, so we'll just sign this and we'll just have to leave. His name blank now. And then Rafa, if you could take that. Take it. And don't let them forget to let you give the certificate.
I'll remember.
Okay.
What? Can we frame it? I can get a frame. Cheap.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
All this stuff.
you can have the folder to carry carefully home.
And because David's not here, so we can give it to him.
Yeah, we'll just have to do it.
We can't frame it. You might want to frame it before he signs it.
No, you,
Forge his signature? We can, right? Just ask his permission to forge his signature.
It's on vacation.
We have to ask him, you have to ask him first before forging it though.
we can just leave this blank because,
It doesn't look good though, it's blank.
What if we printed his name? Then we're not forging it. It's filled up, the space is
you know
filled
what,
up.
just write his name and put your initials underneath it.
Okay, you can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Do when I get home.
I don't even know how, what his signature looks like.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Rafa. America's 250th anniversary is coming up in 2026.
That's right.
So
Gotta plan something.
I sent you the links for the two websites, Revolutionary 250 and America 250. One's the state and one's the federal, and they just seem to have listings of things that are already happening, encouraging people to, cities and towns to honor their revolutionary history. So we didn't have any battles here, but we do
No.
have revolutionary history. We were existing then. So my idea, as I thought about this, was what do we want to do with it? And I was like, well, we could approach the Board of Selectmen to form a committee to plan the 250th anniversary in Dayton. And that on the committee be representatives from our commission, the Historical Society, the Board of Selectmen, the community church, the veterans agent. We have the Minutemen, the reenactors, a representative from there. Tom Ferry, because of roads and all that stuff, I don't know. And some community at large members. That was my thought. We could have events to have the reading of the Declaration. Patrick used to do that, Patrick Menges. A reenactment. It's so funny you brought up reenactments earlier. We could do that again.
Patrick Menges was the tax collector.
Oh, on the molasses thing?
Or yeah,
Yeah. He might have been. So that's what I was thinking. Any other thoughts? What? Do we want it big, little? So then I decided I'd read Helen Lane's book about Dighton and the Revolutionary War last night. It was kind of boring.
So there was no battles fought at all?
Not here, no.
Wow.
We did send people, we did have people that were involved in Timothy Walker's unit and Captain Peter Pitt's unit. I think Timothy Walker's unit was under Peter Pitt's. So we do have connections to it, but there was not a battle here. We had people that went to like the state Congress representatives and stuff when they were doing, votes. In 1774, the residents of Dighton at a town meeting voted not to use British supplies and materials, not to support the British.
I know the anchor for the Constitution was sent out from here too, right?
Yeah, Silas Talbot, that Silas Talbot was on it, and well, the company that made that, but you're right,
The one that was on the Taunton River, right?
yeah. I'm drawing a blank. So anyway, across the country, it seems like this is going to be a big deal, so I thought we should be a part of it. Thoughts?
Is there anywhere where, I guess, where's the oldest? I guess what area or areas of Dighton are most similar to how they looked in 1776? I mean, is there any?
Or Four Corners.
I mean, pretty much there. I
Right,
mean, we could do something with that.
right.
I think if we're gonna do something, we probably should incorporate. If we wouldn't want to do it at a plaza that's
Yeah.
new. I mean, you know,
Strip mall.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah, because the Dighton Community Church has a significant history with
Yes.
that. Ezra Stiles preached there and he fled the British from Newport. So he ends up living in the Rufus Whitmarsh house for a time, and he's actually preaching at the Dighton Community Church. Well, then it wasn't called the Community Church, it was the Second Congregational Church. So he's there, and then he's going back and forth to Newport. So, that's a huge connection, because he ends up actually living, he's there, and then he's living in Ken and Chris Pacheco's house at one
Yeah.
point in time too. And then he goes, leaves Dighton, and actually that's when he goes to New Hampshire and becomes the president at Yale. Was it not Yale?
Dartmouth.
Dartmouth.
So you got a parking lot there you could put cars at. You could take them on a little cemetery tour because you have a lot of historic people in that
Oh, yeah.
cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna keep them long. I mean, it's not gonna be an hour-long cemetery walk. But so what? You're gonna go by these old houses, have like a little parade kind of thing and end up at that.
So, yeah, I mean, so you can do, that's why I said to include the Dighton Community Church in it, because
Because we want to use the building. Yeah, so let's include them.
and I know like the reenactors are, this is the revolutionary reenactors are just like what Irene does for the Civil War, they're big into it, and I think they would be willing to,
Because isn't there a
Artis-
group in Rehoboth?
yeah, that the Rehoboth
Gonna get
Minutemen.
picked up quick, I bet, though.
Mm.
Yeah, so I thought this was a little bit bigger than just us to do. That's why I thought it should be more a townwide and
Yeah.
Mm.
go to the Board of Selectmen for a
Sure.
committee. Does that make sense, Peter?
Yeah, absolutely.
When Dighton turned 300 years, we had a tricentennial committee that was
Mhm.
formed.
Yeah, was it through the selectmen?
No,
It was just through the commission?
I was on it.
Oh, okay, all right. Tell us
Colette
about your
McCann,
experience.
Elaine Valley.
Yeah.
These are the people who were on it.
They were all members of the commission.
Yes, they were.
Colette McKee, wasn't she?
Colette,
Also there.
yes.
Yeah,
Rich Gunther.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of people now. Rich Gunther. Maybe Chris Pacheco was at that point. Maybe she was on that committee. I'm not sure. My son was on it. I was on it.
Okay.
Nancy Goulart.
Oh, so my son was not a member of the commission, but he was on that,
Committee.
he was on that committee for the 300, yes.
Okay, okay. And you guys just planned it and,
And they ended up getting the tricentennial park. That was all part of that.
Yeah.
To celebrate Dayton's 300.
did they
years.
organize the reenactment? No, yeah,
I don't remember a reenactment. If there could have been one, I'm not saying there wasn't. I don't remember
I
that.
remember the ball because we went to the ball.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't go to the ball.
All right.
Where was the ball?
Segregated Country Club.
Ah,
Nicely done.
mhm. Did you dress in costume?
No, because I didn't have my sewing.
You didn't know I read that.
I was.
You'll be dressing in costume this
Yeah.
time, huh?
Sewing machine, I
There
just
you
had
go.
it fixed. But it's a whole different style of costume, the
Mhm.
Revolutionary War. It's not like Civil War.
I don't know, I mean, certainly if we wanted to spearhead it, we could. I would just like to have other people on it, especially if we're going to include the community church.
Mhm.
Definitely.
So,
Sure.
Put some feelers out.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You have the school kids participate, so like a project, give extra credits.
Yeah, once you get your committee formed and going, absolutely, because there's actually events going on now, it's like, the lead up to,
Yeah.
1776.
Should we have fireworks?
It's legal.
Wouldn't one think?
It's illegal.
Well, not if you get a professional.
Not if-
Have it for the couch.
Yeah,
You could always have it, you could always
I'm not
have
saying
part of
me
the
and you
couch.
watch it.
Right, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, you could have part of the Township Festival that does do
Fireworks,
fireworks,
right.
do that as part of.
Yeah, 1776. Yeah.
That'd be a big deal.
Or maybe just imitation of fireworks, like laser LED lights.
That's what they're replacing it with now. anyway.
Safer, yeah, exactly. Everybody's doing it.
They could do it in the cemetery. Come on.
I actually gave a cemetery tour there.
I know you did.
All right,
I think it's also the 50th anniversary of the disco music. Disco.
We'll tie in with that.
Yeah, well, we're trying to.
Play disco version, the techno version
Yeah,
of the
we can
patriotic song.
70s costume, outfits, some
Yankee
bell bottom
Yankee Doodle
pants,
disco.
afro hair.
that was such a good era.
George Washington attire below, and just the wig on top.
You want to interview him?
Ever since I know.
All right, should we go to the Board of Selectmen and pitch our idea?
Sure.
Okay. Do I need a motion for that? Or just go?
I'll just go.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Oh, Leanne,
I'll
put it
talk
on
to
the
you
agenda.
again. I was like, put me on again. You gotta have a permanent spot for the historical commission.
6:35 every other Wednesday.
All right. I think it'll be fun. I think it's
Yeah.
a really awesome thing. So, next is the Firecracker Festival. It's Saturday, September 9th. From noon to 5. The setup is at 10. I looked at what we have. We have the Dayton Historical Commission banner. Do you have the tablecloth set? Tablecloth. I counted the pens. We have 130 pens.
Wow.
Here's my little bag.
Yeah. I know, son's getting. Oh, how nice.
So we have pens, we have 130 of those. We have 236 boxes of crayons. And probably about 100 to 120 coloring pages from the Dayton coloring book that Mary Bennett designed, that Myrna sold for funding for the Segregated Schoolhouse. And so we were able to make copies of that. So that's what we have. We will need a pop-up. I think last year we borrowed the one from the Historical Society. I don't have a pop-up. I can see we can borrow one from them again.
We don't have one, right? We just,
We do have one, but I'm not sure if I got it back after last year's. I let somebody borrow it last year. I don't think they ever returned it.
not in town, you mean just like someone.
No, for the firecracker.
Oh, the fire.
But if we can use the one that we have, if I still have it.
If you find it.
Yeah, well, I came to the firecracker special event, but somebody borrowed it the day before. Paul Reynolds.
Oh.
And I don't think he ever brought it back to my house, so he probably still has it. So if he still has it, we can use it for
Okay.
for this event.
You just gonna check on that, because I can.
Yeah, I
also-
can check
okay.
well tomorrow.
Yeah. So we talked about, we'll have something for I'm drawing a blank, the treasure chest, not no, the
I'm doubtful.
treasure chest.
Not burying it.
We're like treasure chest, I'm like, no, that's not right.
I don't see that on the agenda. Where's treasure chest?
So we'll have some stuff about that, we can have I'll bring the book with all the forms that, in case people want to take a look at them. So. You,
I'm gonna unscrew my historical marker for the world to see. Here's what a historical marker looks like.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Yep.
are you gonna be there?
Yes, because the pageant that I was supposed to judge in New York City was canceled.
Oh,
Okay,
What was it?
This intercontinental USA pageant.
okay, good.
Job,
Yeah.
judge. I like judging people, women.
You get paid to do it? Come on.
All right, and so I don't know, we talked about, one year we had these bands. These wristbands, we ordered those, gave those out.
I like them.
they were very well received.
Yeah,
They came in all different bright colors.
Right, so I pulled out the invoice from that one. So we ordered 200 of those. And they cost us about 94 cents each.
Okay.
And so I could get an estimate. I'll call the people and get an estimate and a timeline to see if we can afford those.
Mention that you're a returning customer.
Yeah. All right, I'll get the information for that. I think we meet on August 8th. That should give them enough time, a month, to be able to put it together, if not. So, yeah, these were, people just absolutely loved these. And we have the crayons, and I was thinking with the crayons and the coloring sheets, just like bundling it, and, just take it away.
Come call right here, bring it home.
Anything else for the firecracker that anyone can think of?
So we're gonna have a schoolhouse, maybe.
Yeah, do you want to do that again? Bring the desks over?
They kind of,
It's a lot of work and was it appreciated,
Did people donate money at all? Like last?
no, oh, that's the other thing. We do have a whole stack of flyers that you made. We had permission to
Right.
put those out. We have plenty of these.
Okay,
And how about if you want to donate to the Segregated Schoolhouse Fund?
like a fundraiser.
Yeah.
I can bake molasses cookies again and charge people like $10,000 each.
They're that good.
They were last time.
Yeah.
He made the molasses himself. too.
Yeah,
That's
so
how good they are.
All right, so we have those, so I think I'll check on that. You can have a pen.
Because you need one.
Yeah. Some of them are kind of falling apart.
What are we down to now? 129?
Change at 36, 134, so. All right, okay. Next, I have reorganization of the Historical Commission. I couldn't believe I forgot to put this on my original agenda. I was like, I don't know whatever made me think of it on Sunday. I was like,
No public input, right?
so, no, public input? No.
Nobody ever watches anyway.
So I don't know if we want to wait till next month when Dave is here, or if we want to.
Let's wait, stable this.
All right, I have a motion to table reorganization until August, please. Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
All right, we still have one position open in order to be a full board.
How about mom?
We already discussed her, remember?
Yeah, well, I want to follow up the chairman.
So I sent you some information on a conference in Providence in November, the November 2nd and 3rd. It's at the Vets in downtown Providence. So it looks like to me, it's just like panel discussions. I thought it was kind of expensive. The early bird for in person 2 days is $100 and after July 17th is $160. But you can also do live stream access.
That's free or no?
Huh?
Online access is free. You have to register.
No, it's not free. You still have to pay for it. Yeah. Early bird is for the 2 days is $68 and after July 17th is $110.
Goes up a lot.
It does. So it looks like it's conversations and panels like, because the Vets is an auditorium. So you're sitting in,
It's a P-PAC.
Yeah.
It's a theater, yeah.
right, right,
It's not like it's not like a convention center where you walk around.
Okay.
right. They did have some workshops that I thought like cultural leadership. The future of cities. I was looking at stuff like, with buildings of inclusive development and housing affordability.
I'm sorry, who organizes this summit?
This is through the Historic New England.
The panel on placemaking in action sounds most relevant to, I think, what we've been discussing.
Right,
Placemaking captures a broad range of collective efforts to preserve and share histories and stories of how diverse communities throughout the region made the place their own.
so, they do have some things and Providence isn't that hard to get in and out of. It's easy. It's right near, you could park at the Marriott there, the big garage. So I saw that and then I was going through something else and came across the one that Mount Preservation Massachusetts does. Rafa and I went to the one in 2021
Plymouth?
in Plymouth. They're doing October 19th through the 21st. They're now planning for a hybrid one. At first it was going to be virtual. Now it's going to be hybrid. So 2 days will be held with virtual sessions. And then another day of in-person opportunities they're going to offer across the Massachusetts. And their details will be available soon. That one, when we went, was more affordable. And they had lots of stuff that was pertinent to what we're doing. And I did. No, we went in 2019 because 2021, I did the virtual one and they still had workshops that were. They were like maybe about an hour. You could pick which ones to go to and they were very pertinent to, what we're doing. So those two conferences are out there. I would like to get to a conference. I'm just not sure which one is going to be the most beneficial.
Do you have any list of topics for the other one?
Not yet.
Yeah,
No, I tried clicking on all their links and it's just, they're not posted.
nothing yet.
But as soon as I see it, I will send it. So that's under Preservation Massachusetts.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're interested, in going to any of these, we would have to approve it, the expenditure. So we'd have to do that in August if you wanted to go to November. We missed the early bird special, but that's okay. So, does anyone have anything else? No? Our next meeting date is August 8th at 6 o'clock. I'll let you know when we get onto Leanne's calendar about the 250th anniversary for the 1776. And that's that. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Irene?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Rafa?
Aye.
And I'm also an aye, and we are adjourned.
How many times, yeah, do you guys use a pop-up tent?
Once.
This one? All right. I might go buy one and